Have you ever celebrated something that once felt so hard to imagine possible and then gave yourself a high five for getting there? Well, it takes grit, audacity, and consistency to get your goals. And today in the Waist Up Wardrobe studio, you're going to learn how to get big, audacious goals and who can get you there, because I am interviewing two of my business mentors who have helped hundreds of business owners get those big, audacious goals. But you know the drill. If you want to soak up all their wisdom, you're going to have to stick around to find out.
Welcome to Waist Up Wardrobe. I'm Christine Vartanian, a civil engineer and attorney turned personal style expert and image consultant. As the founder of Jade for All Seasons, I am passionate about unveiling the inner confidence of my clients by developing their personal style. But is getting dressed up still important in our virtual world? Well, that's where my experience can help with what I call Waist Up Wardrobe. Waist Up Wardrobe is a podcast for all things you need to conduct an outstanding Zoom meeting. It's about how to dress for the camera, but it's not just about the clothes. It's about everything you need to know to show up on brand and professionally for the camera. Join me in the Waist Up Wardrobe studio to discuss how to navigate this virtual world and dominate from behind the desk.
Hello, Virtual Nation. It is amazing to be here today on June 30th of 2022, celebrating 100 episodes of Waist Up Wardrobe. Thank you for being here. And thank you to my very amazing producer, Rick Moscoso, who is always in the production room making this entire show happen. He is the wind beneath the wings of this show, and he is a big part of the celebration today of 100 episodes. This, as you know, Waist Up Wardrobe was born as a result of helping clients, my clients, business owners in general, and entrepreneurs to help them to show up professionally on camera. And it has evolved. It's evolved into a show where not only are you showing up professionally in the way you dress and the way your image is, but even your mindset, how that comes through the camera. We've had shows on, with business owners and mindset coaches, on body language with body language experts. We've had really across the gamut every show that a business owner would find helpful. And what we've tried to do with Waist Up Wardrobe is create a library for business owners where if they needed help on how to style their hair for the camera, there's a show on that. If they needed an episode on how to accessorize for the camera, there's a show for that. Or what body language to use and what not to use, we have a show for that too. How your confidence can show through the camera lens, well, we have a show for that. And we have a show on lighting design and technology design and set design. We really have tried to cover the gamut. So when you think about Waist Up Wardrobe, I hope that you think about a place where you can come to really get every resource met on how you can work virtually from the office and even take it and translate it to meeting in person or in a hybrid office. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for knowing that we are always here at 11:30 on Thursdays on Facebook streaming live. We've done this for 100 shows, with maybe an exception of maybe 5 where we've had to pre-record. But generally, we're always here live because we want to have a dialogue and we want to build up this community. And in addition to that, know that we are on iTunes. So go there, review us, and rate us, if you will. And you can listen to us if you can't watch us. So we're also on YouTube, and we are always here at 11:30 on Thursdays, bringing you a new, fresh show. And today's show isn't any different. It is actually, we really wanted to give you a dynamic show that if you are a person in business and you're an entrepreneur, you do not want to miss this show, because I've brought 2 people on the show in a panel that are amazing mentors. They have coached hundreds of business owners to get those big, audacious goals that they always talk about. They've navigated with business owners their ups and downs, and they really know how to turn a business around and to make you inspired to do better and reach those goals and always hang on to your why. And so I am going to start bragging about them because I want to introduce these 2 amazing mentors. And the first person that will be here today is my direct mentor, Lacey Hagan. And let me just brag about her a little bit. I want to share her bio with you. She is the founder and CEO of a very luxurious company called Bouteille Nouveau Botanical Beauty, and brings to Pinnacle Global Network, which is the organization that they are a part of as business mentors, 20 years of experience in the luxury product and service marketplace. So she really knows the beauty industry. She has worked extensively with sales and merchandising and product positioning and building relationships. And she is a strategy partner that I know firsthand how great she is at strategizing for businesses. And she has been a business owner in her own right with Bouteille Nouveau, and has worked in the beauty industry for years. So please help me welcome Lacey Hagan to the show. Hi, Lacey. How are you? It's so amazing to have you here. I'm so excited and thrilled that you'll get to share your genius with the audience today.
Thank you. I'm so thrilled to be here. I am so appreciative of this opportunity, and I love waistUPwardrobe. I love everything that you do, so I could not be more pleased to be here and to talk about business and achieving our goals and support you in this way.
Yeah, well, this is an episode not to be missed. It's one that I'm going to be sharing with so many business owners for the replay, because I really think that everybody's going to really want to hear what both you and my next special guest have to say. And my next special guest is Melissa Woods. And Melissa started her career in the late 80s when she founded JW Tumbles, a children's gym, which she expanded into a hugely successful franchise with over 40 locations in 5 countries worldwide. She wrote the book on creating a thriving franchise. Secrets of Franchise Success covers everything needed to grow a national and global company franchise. Melissa Woods helps CEOs through the Pinnacle Global Network, and she has been in that organization for quite some time, from the inception of the business. And she is an extraordinary business owner, an extraordinary mentor. Please help me welcome Melissa Woods to the show. Hi, Melissa.
Hi. I'm so honored to be part of this show today. 100 episodes. Wow.
Well, thank you for that. But let me just say that Pinnacle Global Network, yourself, Lacey, Allison, Maslin are a part of this show, and I just get chills as I say that, because, with everything that I built, my education, my experience, my business growing strategies, that all came from Pinnacle and its mentors. So you are part of the show from the inception. So thank you for being here. Right before we get started on really the meat of the conversation that we really want to be able to tell people about growing their businesses, getting their goals, staying inspired, and in that mindset of, how do I keep going? I just want to play a little game and just have people get to know each of you on a personal basis. So, Lacey, I'm going to ask you this question. I'm going to ask you, Melissa, too. So you get a little bit of a lead time here, a little handicap. But Lacey, how would your best friend describe you?
That's a tough one. I think caring would come to mind. Funny, mildly entertaining in a quirky way. But probably more so, the main pillar would be somebody that they could always call and count on, and probably a better friend in the hard times than in the good ones.
Yeah. So I love that you say that, because I firsthand, as as somebody who you mentor on a regular basis, I can vouch for caring. And that's how I would describe you. Invested. That's how I would describe you. And just really understanding of this idea of luxury, the luxury brand, which I love so much about you, as you know, because I'm growing a luxury brand. I'm growing a brand that I want to be exclusive, and I want exclusive in some ways, but also attainable for most people, right? So it's not that luxury where people can't attain, but it's that everybody deserves to feel like a celebrity, and everybody deserves to be pampered and taken care of. So, thank you for that. I love you for that. And I'll just turn the tables to Melissa. Melissa, how would your best friend describe you?
Let's see. She would say that I am a fierce entrepreneur, meaning I find an idea for a business in practically every conversation we have. That I am also like a hippie at heart. Like I love live music and barefoot on the beach. And yeah, so I'm definitely that freedom girl. And that I'm deeply invested in her happiness and just anybody's happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would.
Well, I mean, I think that's remarkable. So I want to add to that because just from knowing you over the years, and every time I talk to you and have a conversation with you, I feel as though you're so grounded. Like I feel that feeling of you being so grounded that the wisdom that comes out of your mouth when you talk to me is like it's an aha moment in and of itself, that you just feel like a person that somebody could talk to and really get out a lot of the conversation. Cheryl Hodgson's here. She's congratulating us on the 100 episodes. Thank you for being here, Cheryl. And just there's such weight behind what you say, in the way that you say it, that makes the people that you're mentoring really absorb it and think deeply about it. So I really appreciate that about you.
Thank you. That's a lovely compliment. Thank you.
I would second that. And
We got a little bit of a hold on Lacey. This is what happens with a live show, right? There you go, Lacey. You froze for a second, but we're used to dealing with those things.
I was just saying I agree in every way.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I want to just get right to the meat because I really want people to just absorb the wisdom that you both have. And this is what I love about Pinnacle Global Network, right? The company that both of you are mentors of, that I'm a member of, is that there are like maybe 40 mentors right now in the group, and everyone has their own style of mentoring. And everybody has this gift and this genius. So we potentially have this ability to learn from everybody differently, which I think is so amazing. I mean, that's a testament to Allison Maslam, the leader of this group, who really knows how to choose the people that will be of service. So I just think that's so amazing. That's why having two people on a panel, you'll get a different thought and a different perspective every single time, right? So Melissa, the first thing I kind of wanted to lead with, because I know as a business owner now, I've been in business with Jade for All Seasons, that's now the Jade House of Style, for 10 years. And I remember as a baby business, back when I was like 2 years into it, I kept telling myself, why do I need a business mentor? Why? Like, is that necessary? And so my question to you is, what does having a business mentor do for a business owner?
Yeah, it's a great question. I would say number one is helping you get out of your own way, because as business owners, we just tend to see things from one lens. It's the same lens that we've been working with. And when you can get that perspective, that outside perspective, it is life changing. And sometimes it's right in front of you. You just can't see it. And so mentorship helps you see that perspective. We also we like to think of ourselves as guides. So there's always going to be a question. And even if we don't have that exact answer, we will help our business owners find the answer so that they can continually move forward. And you know what it's like? Sometimes you get stuck because you just literally don't know where to look for that answer. And so when you have a mentor that can say, well, let's look at all these different ways to find that answer, we're going to get there so that we can move forward.
Yeah, sometimes it's just really nice, even as an expert in your field and industry, to have another expert telling you what to do. Sometimes every smart person needs to surround themselves with other smart people to see it from a different perspective. And so I completely agree. And Lacey, I'm just curious too, and what is your perspective on that? Why do you think having a mentor is important for business owners?
Well, for so many reasons, and absolutely with what Melissa said. In addition, I think, we oftentimes think we need to do it ourselves, or we can figure it out, or we need to figure it out. But there's a lot of value in shortcuts. if you have the lovely opportunity of talking about your idea or your strategy with somebody who's already walked those footsteps or works with people who are walking a lot of different paths, you have the opportunity to sort of bypass some of the trial and error. You save yourself time, you save yourself money, you save yourself heartache. Why not take a shortcut? Business is challenging enough as it is. So I think there's a lot of value in hashing out ideas before you have to do them all yourself. And then also, we have a lot of blind spots as business owners. We're channel thinkers, we're focused on something. There's a lot in the periphery that we might not see. So having somebody like a mentor to say, "Oh, well, have you thought about this? Have you looked at this piece?" Just being able to look at.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That what Lacey says is absolutely 100% true. And Sharon UC joined us right now. Lacey, we lost you for a second, but I mean, you're absolutely right. It's like that shortcut. How do we get from point A to point B without driving ourselves crazy? And sometimes as business owners, we have blinders on. We can only see one way, and asking a friend or even a fellow business owner is great, but a mentor is different in the sense that they are invested in the outcome for you in a way that's different, and they're really removed from it, so they have this objective way of looking at things. And so when I was 2 years into my business and I met Allison Maslin on stage as she was talking about mentorship and business coaching, I was like, oh, maybe I need that, but why do I need it? And so these things that you highlight are absolutely some of the reasons I decided to do this. But one of the biggest reasons was I realized at that point in my life that I always believed in everybody around me. I would support girlfriends. I've invested in my girlfriends' companies and with like hard money. I did so many things for everybody around me, and I believed in people so much. Like, I would never tell somebody you couldn't do something. My philosophy is, if my son or daughter comes to me and they're like, I want to be an Olympian, I'm like, okay, let's think about that. I would never say, no, you're never going to do that. And I thought to myself, why am I not investing in myself? Why wouldn't I take this step for myself? And so, with Allison holding me between her hands, like, I remember exactly what happened. She's like, Christine, you need to do this for yourself. I was like, yes, I'm going to do it. And I am so glad I did, because 6 years into it, I realized just how valuable that is. And Sharon is here. Sharon, you see, and thank you for being here once again. But the next thing I wanted to kind of hit on is that, Melissa, you've really coached hundreds of business owners. I mean, being part of Pinnacle and just being a business owner yourself, what is that one thing that you see as the biggest obstacle in common for most people who own business or entrepreneurs?
Well, it's almost like what I just said before, which is themselves.
Yeah.
They are their own obstacle, right? Fear can get in the way of trying new things. And the unknown is also a huge obstacle, because if you're going to be doing something for the first time and you don't know what the outcome is, a lot of people would rather stay on the course that they know, even if it's not working. So I would say the biggest obstacle really is getting out of your own way, trying new things, making decisions quickly, and not being afraid to risk every now and then an idea, because from trying something new comes the next step. Even if it doesn't work, there's going to be the next step. And
Yeah.
so I would say that it has a lot to do with the fear of the unknown and getting in their own way. Business owners who get in their own way.
Yeah, so true. And Sharon is, saying it's so easy to get in my own way. She's also a business owner, and I tend to agree. I mean, I had to push myself to get out of my way to actually take the step of being coached by somebody in business, and I always viewed myself as somebody who doesn't take risks. I was always a safe, had to be safe. And stepping into business and entrepreneurship is the riskiest thing I've done, but it has so much reward. And I'm so glad I did it, you know? So I turn the tables to you, Lacey. So do you have a one thing that you see as a different than Melissa's thoughts on that? Or do you have another perspective on that?
Well, I agree, and in every way. I also would add to that old stories. You know, we tend to really believe our old stories, and oftentimes when we're trying to do something new or scary, uh, we think we believe something that doesn't really serve us. It doesn't really align with where we want to go, and it can really hold you back. So being able to identify that old story and actually let go of it is when I feel like business owners can actually move forward. And as they practice being aware of these stories and letting them go faster, they
Sorry.
get more and more movement. So I would say old stories is my number one,
Yeah.
or my
So
one thing.
yeah, so interesting because as I was highlighting that I always viewed myself as somebody who doesn't take any risks, right? Just changing that idea about myself was kind of like a new story, right? So it so aligned with everything we're talking about here. And it's so true. But it takes a lot of guts to be a business owner. You know, it's really not for the faint of heart. And we know that the rewards are big just having been business owners and seeing, the whole journey. But in those low moments, right, when you're coaching your business owner clients, in those low moments when a business owner is feeling down or defeated, what is the number one way you bring them up, Lacey? What is that number one thing that, the first place you go to really kind of pull them back up?
I'd say the first place I go is connecting as a human being. You know, what's really going on with you as a human being? Let's stabilize the baseline of humanity. You know, how are you as a person? And then, really diagnosing with questions. What is it that's bringing you down? Is it that you've lost your vision? Is it that you are not clear on your values? Is it that you aren't feeling far enough, fast enough? Like, what is it really that is causing this feeling? So I think first you have to really get to the root of what's going on, and sometimes it's just the need for rest. Is this a time to put the pause on, reevaluate, take a moment, and then
Yeah. And I remember that so quickly, being mentored by Lacey. Sorry, Lacey, you cut out for a
I
second, so
know
I
I
took
don't know
over
what's
it.
going
That's
on. I'm
okay.
so
Um,
sorry.
I'm just saying anecdotally, like being your client, I remember having those little moments. I remember right in 2020 when everybody was pivoting, and I told you, I am not pivoting. I'm standing still. I'm not
Yeah.
doing it.
You didn't even want to hear the word pivot. You said, I don't like that word. I'm not using it.
I'm done. I'm done hearing that word. Please stop saying that. And you said, well, Christine, maybe yours isn't a pivot. Maybe it's just this big ship that is going to take a slower time to move in the right direction. And right after that, I gave birth to waistUPwardrobe. And that was my rebirth in 2020, which is incredible. It was really just this low moment of like, am I just gonna stop doing what I'm doing? Am I gonna change what I'm doing altogether? What is gonna happen? I almost just don't want to do this anymore. And it was that conversation, that talking about maybe just don't think like everybody else is thinking, and really and you took my temperature, and this is why mentorship is so important. And Melissa, just curious your perspective on that. Like I said, it's not for the faint of heart. So what do you do when somebody's at that lowest moment? Because we all have them, right? Everybody sees the accomplishments, the successes, then they envy you, and then they're like, but they don't realize those low days.
Well, I mean, it's human, just like what Lacey was saying. Everybody has those days. Everybody does. Every single client I've ever coached will have that, will come to me at one point in our relationship, or maybe several times, feeling that way. And I just want to, what Lacey said is exactly the first place you want to start. And then from there, it's always like, let's just put everything aside. And when you started this business, like, what were you thinking? What were your thoughts about it? What was your vision? Why did you even do this business? What did you want? Where did you think it was going to take you? And we just go back to that original, like, well, I really wanted to serve the population I was serving, or I wanted to be able to have more freedom in my life, whatever that is. Then we sort of do an analysis on, well, let's talk about what we've accomplished so far, because we really have. And I think what Lacey said is so important. Sometimes we're just burned out. Sometimes when we're at that point, we're just completely burned out and we need to take a pause, and it's okay to take that pause. And in fact, I think Lacey can concur with this, that as mentors, we give a lot of our responsibility with our clients is to give them permission to pause, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes you don't, it's not like your mom's telling you, okay, you need to rest now, or your teacher's telling you, go home for the weekend and play. We are that to a lot of our clients, and we just have to say, it's time for you to step back, and it's okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's so true. It's so true. Were you going to say something, Lacey?
No.
Oh, yeah, no, it's so true. And Sharon is saying, those pivotal moments, right? It's that pivotal moment, like, you're pivoting. It became a boost to greater things. Exactly. When you're shifting things, when you're in a low moment, and then you're growing out of it, you really are growing, right? There's this shift that happens, and very, very possibly you're going on to greater things, which I can speak firsthand. And she loves the idea of permission to pause, which Lacey talks about all the time. It's absolutely 100% true, because sometimes I'll look to Lacey and go, okay, Christine, you've been going at it really well. You've done a lot. So just take a minute. Mm-hmm. And when Lacey says take a minute, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not slacking. I'm not slacking, because that's what I'm thinking. Am I slacking? So that's another perspective on why it's so important to have a mentor, because you need people sometimes wiser than you that are looking at the bigger picture to look back and tell you what to do, because they see the bigger picture, which is quite interesting. And Cheryl is saying, I've just given myself the permission to pause and rethink. And that is, and I feel like this time of year in June, people tend to do that in their business, because we hit the ground running in January. We go. And then June is like, okay, everybody's at the beach. Is it okay for us to just kind of regroup? And that feels something that in common for most business owners. And I just kind of want to go back to something you said, Melissa. When you said about, you talk to your business owner clients about how they've come, where they've come, like how far they've come when they've hit that low, and also why they're doing this. And I totally resonate with that, because personally, my mind, when I'm feeling down, or I'm having a bad day in business, or like something didn't go like I expected it to, or I couldn't convert a client, I thought it was a slam dunk or something like that, I go back to my why. And Lacey knows this about me very well. I'm very much, I have a firm belief that if a business owner is connected to their ultimately deep why, not that superficial why, not that I dress women to make them feel great in their outfits, that's the superficial why. What's underlying that, and then what's underlying that real deep why, that visceral connection you have to the business, that one that might lie next to, that urge, that wound maybe that made you create your business in the first place, then you can't fail. You're doing it for something bigger than yourself. And so I go there, and I've discussed this with Lacey so many times. So I totally get that. Like, going back to, why are we doing this? Why did you even start it in the first place? Can be a big motivation to keep going. So what is, and I'll direct this to you first, Lacey, what is your definition of success? Because I know that there's so many cliches out there about success, and and everybody has a different definition. And so what would you say yours is? Because I know you're so profound when it comes to these things.
You're kind. Well, from the perspective of mentoring, my definition of success is your definition of success.
Mm,
And really being clear that it's yours. Your why is your definition of success. Why did you start this? Oftentimes, it's like Melissa said, more freedom in my life, time with my family. There's whys. So sometimes they're financial. I want to hit X amount of revenue. I want to hit X amount of income. I want to exit my company within X amount of time. And those are all great measurements. But really, for me, it comes down to, is your life the life that you want to be living? And are we getting there?
yeah.
And my definition of success might be very different from yours. One of my definitions is time in my garden. I love that. I feel very successful when I have time to do that. And that's where
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think what Lacey's saying about
mentor. I
defining success. Sorry, go ahead. Mhm.
Yeah, just as a mentor, it's really my job is to make sure that we are clear on your definition of success and we are keeping our eye on that prize on a constant basis.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, truly is different for different people, And so, Melissa, what are your thoughts on that?
So again, I concur with Lacey 100%. I mean, really, in the mentoring world, I mean, our only agenda is the success of our clients, which is a really cool agenda to have. That's all. That's the only thing we care about. I think it's a really deep question because I think it's very subjective. And as I go around the sun every year, I kind of, I have to kind of reevaluate what success is to myself. I mean, at one point it was like drive, 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 money, 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 money. That was a big part of it. But when I finally realized that it's about the anchor of what feels right in your soul, like, when I think about freedom, like freedom, we can talk about freedom all day long. What does it mean for you? For me, though, when I think about freedom and I think about what that means to me, and I can really anchor it in my soul, like in my being, then I know, okay, that's what success is. Like it's a real inner thing, certainly balance and opportunity and choice. All those things are part of success to me. But like I said, it's a large conversation
Yeah.
and can go in many directions. And Lacey and I probably have had this conversation. We could do a Socratic conversation around any subject. Give it to us. We will
I know.
pick it apart forever.
Yeah. What a great topic to have a conversation about, right? Success, definition of success, and how everybody defines it and the perspective. I think it could depend on your values too. It depends what you hold dear to yourself, right? Do you value more, travel? Do you value more, do you have certain money goals that you have to attain because you're supporting a family? Like where is it that you're coming from can really help you define success for yourself.
And I
But
wonder if it changes. I mean, does it change every chapter, every 10 years? Do you read? I mean, for me, that's sort of how it's been. It's always has that underlying, like, piece to it. It's like the anchor of it, but it definitely, changes a little bit, which is really fun.
yeah, it
Yeah.
changes.
Yeah.
It changes with every season of your life. I remember when
Yeah.
I was a stay-at-home mom for 10 years as raising my kids, my definition of success is bringing them joy every day and raising them to be good human beings, and just doing my very best to get there. So, and then now that I'm in a different season of my life, it's a little bit different. Absolutely
Yeah.
true.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, there's also the piece of success which is, are you
Oh, that was such a good wisdom
Okay.
nugget.
She'll be back.
Yeah. Wait, say that again,
so
Lacey. We missed
frustrated?
it.
So also, is the definition of success you're operating from truly your own, or is that
Mm.
Yeah. Or is it
Yeah.
somebody else's?
Or
You know?
societies, right? I mean,
Totally.
yeah.
Totally. Kristen Levine is here. She said, congratulating us on 100 episodes. And thank you for being here, Kristen. Always nice to see you. Totally what Lacey's saying about another person's success. When I was a college student, my dad wanted me to go to law school. That's how I ended up in law school, because that was his definition of success.
Mm-hmm.
And and I was living by that. I mean, it brought me to where I am today. I don't regret it. It was a little bit of a windy road to get to where I'm at, but it's so interesting because there are certain expectations that might define success around you, and so that's very interesting. And Sharon she's saying these are big questions and very thoughtful answers, and they are. And this is what we as business owners do, really. I mean, being a business owner or entrepreneur is about really exploring the deep meaning in life, because we are always exploring our why, and we are always trying to figure out our purpose. We've started businesses because we had a bigger purpose than we ever thought possible. And so we started this business so that we can serve other people and really fulfill our purposes. So yes, these are big questions, but the wonderful thing is we have some real good wisdom here that is discussing it. So, when as a business owner yourself, Melissa, when was a time that you kind of hit a low, like a rock bottom or a low, and how did you coach yourself out of it, if you did at all?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. How I have to just start thinking about which one I'm going to say, because there were lots of them. Right. I would say, like, one that always comes to mind. I was in business for like maybe 2 years, 3 years. We had just our first employee. This was our first location. We had our first employee. We kind of had no idea what we were doing, but we were doing it, and we were very successful quickly with what we were doing. We had one employee that we were grooming to the point of like actually helping him with his hygiene, like literally grooming him from top to bottom to be a director for us, so that we could step away from our business and do other things. And he tells us that he was going to be taking a trip around the world, and was really looking forward to it. And instead of taking the trip around the world, we threw him a big party. He opened up the same program about 10 miles away from us, and took a lot of our clients with us. And I mean, I was just shocked that somebody would do that in the first place. Somebody that we had given so much to, and that would have no regard for, integrity of any kind. Of course, what went through my mind is, I'm going to, at his grand opening, I'm going to release a bunch of fleas in his place. So that, we had a good time thinking about all the things we were going to do to get back at him. And then when I finally came to the point of, like, it's about like karma. And I mean, I don't mean to be so woo-woo, but it really is like, this is not going to work out for him. It's not an easy business. We might have made it look easy. There's a lot to it. And, I'm going to go ahead and push him, like, good luck, and just stay focused on what I needed to stay focused on. But it took me a little bit of time, honestly, to get there without thinking of all those horrible things I was going to do to see him fall on his face.
Yeah. Gut punch, those moments where you get gut punched a little bit, and you're like, you all the work, all the sweat, all the, and then you feel like the rug got pulled from underneath you. But, as entrepreneurs often do, you just carry on, and you just do your thing, and you do you, and you do your best. And obviously you saw much success after that. So it didn't, the outcome was great, but of course that moment, that low, can be very difficult.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Lacey, I mean, I know you own an amazing business. I use your products. The Bouteille Nouveau products are, bar none, my favorite when it comes to body care and skincare. Has there been a moment like that you can remember that you'd like to share with us?
Oh, girl, so many. I mean, just like Melissa, I don't know. I mean, I think that's part of the journey, the falling down and then getting back up. But full disclosure, there have been many times I've sobbed on the floor. I mean, many. The one that's really coming to mind is, when you have this ideal, this is going to be it. If I get to this place, I will have made it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be the it thing for my business. And I got there. I got into anthropology, and I thought, this is it. This is the pinnacle. This is the store I've built everything to get into. And I thought, all the things were going to come with it. The notoriety, the business, the revenue, the accolades. And as I started this process of working with them, I started learning that it was the exact opposite of what I truly wanted. It was so challenging. It was not lucrative. It was a ton of work for very little reward. It was grueling and it was a grind. And I thought, well, what am I going to do now? Like, what's the plan now? What do we do? Where do we go from here? If this was the end all be all and it's not, what now? And I think most of the experiences that have been related to those sad moments have been related to, wow, that is not what I thought it was going to be, or that didn't work out like we planned. What now? Now we got here, then we came here. Now how do we get back up here?
Yeah.
So that's kind of the pattern or the feeling that's usually associated with that other feeling of oh goodness. So I think that's been the eye-opening experiences where I've learned that things are not what I had built them up to be in my mind.
Yeah.
And then what do we do from there?
Yeah. So it's so interesting, right? Because as business owners, you've been through your thing too, right? You've been through those ups and downs, just like you coach people through it. And that's where we as clients of yours get sort of the benefit of the experiences, right? It's almost like that straight shot. Like you've been there, you've been in those, low moments, and you know exactly how to get people out of it because you've experienced it yourself. I have a girlfriend of mine who owns a hip and happening company, just growing, just really scaling right now and growing. She has a hair care line that is sustainable and all that. And I remember her telling me a story that, she wanted to get into Nordstrom so bad. Like it was like something she wanted to get into so bad and they got in, but just like you, it wasn't all it was meant to be because like there were so high returns and almost like product down to the bottom, but returned, things like that she didn't anticipate. And it was kind of a disappointment, but boy, did she learn. Right? Boy, did she learn who she's going to pick next and if she's ever going to do that again and all that. So that's sort of our school of life as a business owner. This is how we actually learn. It's painful, but it's the power of struggle that makes us better and better, really, and the power of the people around you. So the title of the show being How and Who Help You Get There, it really is about the people around you, not only your mentors, but in the Pinnacle Global Network, we have fellow business owners that continuously give us feedback and are invested in our businesses in a way that where they don't have any benefit other than seeing you be successful, which is such an amazing thing about being part of a Pinnacle Global Network. I mean, many of the people here today on the show are part of this amazing group, Sharon and Cheryl. I know Kristen has been in the past. So it's really about learning from the wisdom in your life, but surrounding your people understand the journey because it isn't for the faint of heart. My next question is kind of interesting because it's to me, it's a very special question. It's about intuition and gut feeling. How much, and I'll direct this to you first, Melissa, how much do you feel like intuition and gut instinct of an entrepreneur is important for them in business?
Oh, I think it's super important. Super important. And that's part of the reason why having a mentor is so important, because I think sometimes we ignore what our gut is telling us. And when you can actually voice it to somebody else and kind of talk it out a little bit, then you realize, that's right. It usually has to do with making decisions, right? I mean, business owners, all they do all day long is make decisions. And so sometimes, you get caught up in, oh my gosh, I should be doing it because without really paying attention to your gut instinct. And at that point is when it becomes, a big mistake. I think gut instinct also plays a huge role when you're hiring people. To really pay attention to that gut. And I'm telling you, I've been burned a few times. And now whenever I have that feeling, I voice it. I don't just keep it in. I voice it out. So, I think it's really, really important. I also, not to say that also really working on strategy is also just as important, but the two can go hand in hand. And, when you know something, pay attention to it. And at least talk to somebody else about it. That's what I would say.
Yeah, for sure. Gut instinct. To me, asked that question because I generally, just in life in general and in business, I lead from gut. That's like my first place that I go when I'm making a decision. It's like, what is my, I take the temperature, like how am I feeling about this? But I do believe, and everybody has access to their intuition, their gut feeling, but not many, some people just don't really tap into it as much, or they don't, not aware of it as much. I think business owners are some of the people that really work on that and their intuition, how they feel about things and decision making. So I just think it's one of those really cool things as business owners are so aware of. And so your thoughts, Lacey, on that?
I was just going to mention one other thing, Lacey. I'm sorry, but I'm thinking
No,
like
go for it.
sometimes your gut instincts are also like your old story. So you have to be careful and be able to disseminate that is this my old story keeping me safe, or is this, you have to kind of have that internal conversation. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, it's so important to look at the flip side, right, of it. I mean, you can't, and the thing is, it's like you can't have one flat rule. There's certain guidelines as a human you kind of go by, you have based on your values and where you come from and your experiences, but every rule has exceptions. Otherwise, you'd be so rigid, you really can't advance. So Sharon is, she's seconding what you're saying, that gut instinct versus your old story, really being aware. Is this the old story? Is this, something I should pay attention to? So Lacey, your thoughts on intuition and how that guides you, or what you have, your perspective on that.
Well, I'm going to piggyback on something you said earlier in the show, which was it takes guts to be an entrepreneur and to run a business. So by design, your guts are really important. Your gut instinct is something to really pay attention to. And I would absolutely second Melissa on that, because yes, it is your intuition, and that is something that you don't want to deny and you want to have a conversation about. But if you are operating on gut instinct based on fear, or based on, I did something before and it didn't work out, so my gut is saying stay away from it now, I think that's where leadership comes in, and being able to have the conversation with your team and say, well, my gut is telling me this, so this is how I'm feeling about it. I'd also love to open up the floor to you to see how you're feeling about it, because you might be thinking in a way that's backwards versus forward, or your gut instinct might be there to help you move towards something else or something a little bit more forward. So yeah, 100%. It's good, but it's also from that like lizard brain part of yourself. So, don't always take it as absolute truth of like, I know my gut is saying this is it, because it might just be like a little inkling that tells you to think about something a little bit further.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers here, actually. Now, with Melissa bringing up that point about, fear or old story, there's actually a lot of layers to it. The question is bigger, actually, very deep questions. Sorry. But
The two big thinkers on the Pinnacle. We're the big deep thinkers on the Pinnacle team. So sorry about that.
And we're in perfect company. As Cheryl is saying, it's a great point about the old story. It is my fear, her fear, or old story, or am I in the present moment to receive that intuition? So the point is really well taken. You can see how it's getting people thinking. And Kristen says, sometimes I wonder if my gut feeling is business based in fear. I think this definitely could be tied to my old story. So obviously, Melissa, you kind of hit something very valuable there, because, and, we're all about awareness. As business owners, we're very in tune with ourselves, and we think about our thoughts, and we're always really aware because we are used to these exercises. We're used to our minds sort of doing this thing, going from one thought to another, thinking deeply about concepts and, success and purpose and why. So we really are designed, just by virtue of being business owners, to think in this way. This reminds me of a book I read, Blink, and I'm sure, I don't know if anybody knows that, but it's sort of about becoming an expert, and how experts really can tell, like when they look at something and they have a gut about something, like an expert, museum curator would look at a Picasso and know it's a Picasso because of all the experience, all the hours and hours experience, and that they've lived through, that they have that shortcut. So there's that too, which is so interesting. So when I use gut instinct, it's like in decision making, like I think about, okay, how does that feel? But also in hiring, like you were saying, Melissa, I'm always thinking about this person I'm talking to. How do I feel about them? Am I comfortable around them? So all that is about instinct, and how what you're thinking and what you're feeling and how you're reacting to certain situations. So very, very interesting topic. We could have a whole episode on intuition and gut feeling. So I'm going to talk about something really quick as we come to the close of the show, is that people don't think is that important, but I think is so critical to success in business. And that's self-care. I am curious, how important do you think, Lacey, self-care is for business owners?
It's the most important thing. And it is the thing that gets completely dropped first.
Yeah.
It's the last, when you get into that, well, I'm speaking generally, but what I've seen, and I battle it myself, but when you're so focused on something, you tend to drop the self-care because you are the thing that can be neglected. So I think it is so important because if you're not full, how can you possibly fill somebody else up or something else up? If we're not protecting our energy and our bodies, then we tend to hit walls. So many things unravel when we're not taking care of ourselves. It's so important. And if I could give anybody who's starting a business just a piece of advice, is as you build your strategy, as you rebuild your identity and your lifestyle and your routines, you're going to change a lot of things. You're going to change where you drive to work. You're going to change where you go, who you're with. All the things change when you start a business. But if you could build in a really solid exercise and nutrition routine from the beginning, don't wait till you're 10 years in and you're 30, 40, 80 pounds overweight and you've lost your fitness and your blood pressure's out the roof. Don't wait until then to try to build it back in. Build it from the very beginning. And if that's hiring a trainer, or it's joining a gym, or it's finding a yoga studio, or it's getting a spin bike in your second bedroom, whatever it is, build it in from the beginning, because it will catch up to you. It will derail you. And you are the only person who can protect yourself and keep yourself strong as your business gets stronger.
100%, 100%. So I'm in the business of self-care. I help my clients find that, I give them permission to take care of themselves. And in a way, and then, my work is, many people perceive it as clothes. It's about the clothes, but it's really not. It's really, clothes are a tool. Clothes are the tool that help up-level the self-care, up-level the confidence, the emotional vibration, make them feel bright and beautiful and happy and show up professionally. But self-care is such a foundational piece in my business. It's almost like a value. Like, I need to memorialize it as a value. And it's so important for business owners. One of the very first things, before I had my business, I helped my husband build his business. He's a dentist. And everything that we did to build his business was based on him taking care of his physical body. Because his business is so taxing on his body. And he would laugh at me. Like, I would tell him, you need to, get physical therapy, like massage therapy, every 2 weeks. And he'd be like, I don't need it every 2 weeks. I'm like, you need it. And he's so grateful now that he really followed the course, because he's healthy, he's happy, he loves what he does. Many of his colleagues they complain in the morning getting out of bed that they can't walk, and we're young, and nowadays people are going to live to be 100, right? So you really do have to take care of that body so that you can sustain the people that you're serving. And so, Melissa, I know we talked this to death, but I would love your thoughts on self-care.
Well, yeah, I've always been a proponent of self-care. Absolutely. 100%. And, when it comes to like exercise, it's funny because I've always looked at my schedule and put in my exercise for the week. And that's the first thing I schedule. And I have, two assistants that work with me, and they're like, oh, she can't do it in the morning because she's working out. But I've really carved out that time for myself. Not only does it help me make me feel strong and empowered, but it literally, like, I can't do it in my head if I don't get enough of that exercise, and I don't get enough of the endorphin thing going on, and I can find myself getting low energy. It's like so important. So I know that we've worked with a lot of clients. They'll come to us, and that will be one of the questions that we will ask them. What do you do for self-care? And when they don't have any kind of regime, it becomes front and center. We want them to pay attention to that, because it's just like what they say about, we've heard it over and over again, but like in an airplane, when, you always have to put the oxygen mask on you first before you put it on somebody else, but it's so true. And when your gas tank is empty, nothing works. And that's also when you get sick.
Absolutely. Like, what would be the point of having a business where you're serving others and you're not well?
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, I am so excited that both of you made the time to be here with me today. Lacey gave her one piece of advice, and that's how I was going to close with that question. So, Melissa, what is one piece of advice you would give to business owners?
One piece of advice would be to stay in possibility. Don't close off what opportunities might be just around the corner. Like, keep thinking magically. It's really, really important to fantasize and dream, and that's how you manifest.
Love it, because there's this quote that I had posted on my feed not that long ago that said, people, when I am daydreaming, I'm actually working. When I'm daydreaming, I'm actually working because I'm building in my head, right?
Yeah.
So this is the genius, right? People like you. This is the genius that you find in an organization like Pinnacle Global Network that I'm a part of. I've been a part of for 6 years. I will always be a part of it for the life of my business. And this is why it is like having people like yourselves in my life as I grow my business, to see me through my successes, to see me through my downs. People like Allison Maslin, who leads the company, Pinnacle Global Network, and is the founder of the company, that really got me believing in myself. Like, you need to do this for yourself. So many of the mentors in the group and the community, right? We have almost 250 people in that community, like Sharon, like Cheryl, who's here on with us, like Kristen, who, have become my best friends. They have become people that are invested in my growth and my company. And I don't mean they're my clients. I mean that they are actually partners in my growth, like part of my board of trustees. Like, if I have a question, I know who to go to. It's a community where there's every profession possible, in that we can actually run a whole island with all the professions in Pinnacle Global Network. I would love to just give people, as we wrap up, I want to give people a sense of, like, if they wanted a business mentor, if they wanted to be part of a community like Pinnacle Global Network, do you have any information to give them about that, Melissa, where they can, connect? Or, I think we could probably put a link in for the next big event, but can you give some advice on how they can find you guys?
Well, they can go to our website. That's a good place to start, Pinnacle Global Network. Or they can also look up Allison Maslin. She is all over YouTube. She's all over Instagram, TikTok. Everywhere social media lives, Allison lives. So, those are two different ways of finding us. And also, I think you'll be putting in a link sometime for our event that's coming up.
Yep. So with the hashtag mentor and shine, for anybody here, we will be putting a link in for the next event. And is this an event where people can actually bring a friend, Melissa?
Yeah, it's actually an event where they can bring a business owner. Instead of just bringing a friend, we want them to be able to bring a business owner.
Yeah.
And there are some criteria involved with that, and it's going to all be on the website as well. So when you give them the link, they'll learn all about it. It's really going to be an amazing event. It's going to be fantastic.
And that's coming up soon. It's coming up in November, I want to say, or is it September, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
In September. I think it's September 8th through the 10th, but we'll put the link up for people to check out. And we are, I mean, I'm going to be there. I know there's the beauty of it is that you really get to meet some outstanding business owners. And I really can't wait. And I would be remiss to wrap up this show without bringing Rick up to just have him as both of you are a part of the show, huge part of the show, because you're part of Pinnacle Global Network. Rick is sort of like I said, the wind beneath the wings. So Rick, please don't be shy. Please come out from the production room and let everybody see your face. And
I'm here.
He's wearing my the cap. I make him wear the waistUPwardrobe cap. And I just want to say, so Rick is a very low-key guy, but boy, is he a genius. When it comes to video production, when it comes to that sizzle reel people watched as we opened, when it comes to even his coaching, he is a coach when it comes to this video production. I always say God loves me because people that come to down my path are I just really get blessed with the people that run in my path that I run into. And Rick, you've been such a cornerstone in this business in general, and just everything you've done to make this show happen and just be a part of my journey. I'm so grateful for you. So I just wanted you deserve like a highlight on episode 100.
Well, I appreciate the kind words. I mean, to do 100 episodes like you've done, not many people, number one, are willing to do that, or even capable of doing that. And like you said, I mean, it takes a lot of guts to do something like this. And I've said this before. I remember that way back when you first contacted me and we started doing stuff in front of the camera, how shy you were. And it's like, what am I going to say? How should do I look right? Where do I look? Just all the things that initially made you nervous. Now you're a podcasting pro, or a live stream pro. So this is awesome.
Definitely your coaching. I mean, I remember when I first started recording video, my eyes would do something weird. He's like, your eyes are kind of going wide. I mean, all the funny things that have happened and all the blooper reels you've created from those things are like so funny. But thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are amazing. I love you. You are the guy that I go to for everything when it comes to technology. Thank you, ladies, for being here. I am so, so blessed. And I'm so blessed to be able to make 100th episode. The main takeaway here, waistUPwardrobe Nation, is that as a business owner, you need to have people in your life that will get you there. And as I say that, I get chills. Today, we celebrated 100 episodes of waistUPwardrobe. We have the red balloons behind us here to, where is it? To prove it that we're celebrating today. And the main takeaway is you should have a mentor who tells you what to do sometimes in those low moments and guides you through that. And a lot of tips that we discussed today are so critical to the success of an entrepreneur, really understanding your intuition, being aware of your old story, all these big ideas, right? As entrepreneurs, you'll tap into that. And when you have a mentor, they really help you see it from a different perspective, just like you heard Melissa and Lacey talk about that here today. Remember, you can be part of a group of brilliant minds that are in business. You can have a mentor. And, right here, we have one lead that you can tap into just to kind of explore that idea with Pinnacle Global Network. I happen to be very partial to Pinnacle Global Network because they have been my mentors. But, you need the guidance. You need the guidance to really get to those big, audacious goals. And sometimes family members, as much as they love you, they are not the right guide. So there you have it. Episode 100 of waistUPwardrobe. waistUPwardrobe, where we bring you a new, fresh episode every single Thursday at 11:30 live so that you can have a dialogue with us. Join us next week where we bring you a new, fresh episode at 11:30 on Thursday in the Facebook page at waistUPwardrobe. Great show. Thank you again. I am so thrilled you're here. I don't know if I could hear you, Melissa. Are you muted?
No.
No, you're not. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you for a minute there, but thank you again. I actually, it's so funny because I have not been nervous for a long time. Today I was nervous, and I don't know if it's because I have Melissa on. I'm thinking, oh, Melissa, like she's like, she's like the head of all the mentors. I really have to impress her.
Well, you impressed me hugely. I mean, you are incredible. You're meant for this work. Seriously.
Oh, thank
really
you.
And truly. And do you do guest podcasts? Do you get on other people's?
I have, but not a lot. I have to do that more. I mean, I really
do, because you are your brand. 100% you are your brand.
Yeah.
And you need to show that, because I think people will really resonate with that. You're not only are you super put together and beautiful, but you're super down to earth and talk to people like they are your best friends in their living room with them. And that's unusual. That's not easy to find that.
Oh, Melissa, thank you. That's such a sweet compliment. That really made my day. Thank you. That's really, really cool. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to get you out there more so everybody can. Yeah.
I definitely need to tap into more.
I would like you on the pinnacle stage. Like, I've been championing that for a long time.
Yeah, I would love that. I mean, I would love the honor to do that, but I just wait. The time will come. The time will come.
Yeah. My only challenge is, which topic do we choose? I mean, you have so many brilliant things already put together, so that would be my only challenge.
See, I love how Lacey totally believes in me. Like, I would be like, well, I don't know if I can really have a lot to offer, and Lacey's like, you have a lot of topics.
Yeah, and you do. And you just look at who the audience is, and probably there's probably 10 of those topics that would work, and then you just close your eyes and choose one.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Melissa. Thank you again. I know that you had to both carve out time out of your schedule to be here, but I'm really, truly honored. And I want you to know that everything that I do in Pinnacle, everything I do outside of Pinnacle has contributed to. You guys are my mentors, my teachers, and my tribe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you're also the ideal client, which is equally as impressive.
Oh, yeah. I don't know about that, Lacey. I don't know, especially when I'm like, I am not going to pivot. Do not tell me that word.
Thank you. Yeah.
That was so great. It was so great. But I mean, you know what? Everybody has their process. Look at where it got you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
You don't want to say that word? We won't say that word.
It's the power of words. I was just like, it's overdone. It's overused. I'm tired of hearing it. Stop telling me that.
It really is. I'm so tired of that word too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good word, but Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Okay, it was fun. Okay. Thanks, guys. All right.
Thanks, ladies.
Okay, bye.
It was a great show.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Wasn't it though?
Yeah.
I was nervous. I was nervous.
I couldn't tell.
Really? Okay. Yeah. I mean, because I haven't ever had Melissa on. So, and she's sort of the leader of all the mentors.
Yeah.
So she's, she's really, really cool. They're all amazing. I mean,
good job. That was awesome. It was a good show.
Well, thank you. You are I wasn't lying when I said you are the wind beneath the wings of the show. I mean, I definitely couldn't do it without you. And with all the coaching and just episode 1, right? And then looking through, and I will tell you, I was out. Should we kill the
no, because we have to do your speedy recap.
Oh, but are we doing it live?
We always do it live.
Oh, okay. Should I just do that first?
Yeah, I can always edit. I can always from Facebook, I can edit the back half of this, so it's not on. No, I mean, let's just do it like we normally do it. This is how we normally do it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're the producer.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was going to say I was out to dinner with my sister yesterday, and she says, "Oh, is it okay for you to go out to dinner tonight? I mean, you have your show tomorrow, your 100th episode." I'm like, you know what? I'm kind of a pro now. I don't need a lot of prep. I mean, I'm just like,
Yep.
I actually am a really good interviewer. I realize I actually enjoy coming up with the questions, and that
Mhm.
definitely I've honed that skill through the show.
Oh, there's no
Um,
doubt. Yeah, you're a great interviewer, you
It
know?
actually takes me back to my lawyering days because I used to love doing the depositions. Like, we did so
Ah,
much discovery in construction defect. We'd like interview experts and engineers and all these people. And that was one of the parts I really loved about the work I did. And so it kind of reminds me of that. But
hmm.
I do love, talking to people. So it's kind of like my personality. So
No, you do a great job at
thank you.
it.
Should we do the speedy recap?
Yes, we should.
Okay.
All right, let me go to single.
Did you like the balloons touch?
I I
I
did. I was like, oh, I saw you pop on. It's like, oh, she's got balloons. That's great.
Yeah, I thought it was a last minute thought. I told
Yeah.
Isabel, "Can you get me balloons, red balloons? I need 10 red balloons." She goes, "Mom." I'm like, "Please, it's my 100th episode. Will you please do that for me?" And she went and got that for me. It was very
Yeah,
sweet.
that's awesome. Nice
Yeah.
touch.
Yeah. Okay,
All right.
speedy recap.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna mute and you can go
Yep,
whenever you're ready.
like fluff up the hair and then go. Okay. Have you ever celebrated something that felt so hard to attain that you gave yourself a high five when you actually achieved it? As a business owner, you need to have the grit, the audacity, and the ability to be consistent to reach your goals. But you know what? It's how to get there and who is going to help you get there. Well, that's another story. Wait a minute. No, I have to say so that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay. Should I start from the beginning or should I
yeah,
just say, okay,
yeah. Let's do a one cut.
okay,
It'll just be cleaner.
okay. Have you ever celebrated something that once you, okay, have you ever celebrated something that once felt so hard to imagine possible that you gave yourself a high five when you attained it? Well, in business, it takes audacity, grit, and being consistent to get to your big, audacious goals. But how do you get there? And who will help you get there so that you can do it without losing your mind as a business owner? Wait, is that okay?
Well, that was okay until you made a face.
Losing, well, I didn't know if I wanted to use that word, losing your mind, but
Oh, yeah,
yeah. Uh, should I do it over again?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because it didn't. Yeah.
Didn't connect.
Mhm.
So that, okay. Okay. Have you ever celebrated something that once felt so hard to imagine possible, and then you gave yourself a high five for attaining it? As an entrepreneur and business owner, it takes audacity, grit, and consistency to get those big, audacious, hairy goals. But how do you get there? And who can help you get there so that you can do it in a thoughtful, strategic way and really feel successful doing it? Is
It's
that good?
okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Not great.
well, you said a word in there that sounded kind of funny, and I'm not sure if you meant to say that, but you said
Which
big,
one?
audacious, hairy goals.
Yeah, the BHAGs. They
Okay. All right. I
talk
get it.
about
No,
that.
that's fine.
Yeah,
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 then it was good.
yeah.
Then it was good.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Because that's a term they usually use. I usually take the word hairy out because I don't like
Mm.
that word,
Yeah,
but
that's why I was like,
the BHAG, right? They always talk about your big, audacious, hairy goals. Yeah,
oh, okay. All right.
yeah, okay. Okay, let me
All right.
just
Part two.
take away his. As we celebrate episode 100 of Waist Up Wardrobe, I interview two of my favorite mentors from my Pinnacle Global Network organization and mentorship group. And the biggest takeaway that they both really agreed on was that it is important sometimes to have somebody guide you and take you down the path so that you can have the shortcut to getting to your goals. One tip that they thought they really voiced was that Success is something that's defined differently for each person. And that's why having a mentor and having a coach help you through your process and help you get to your goals can be a very personal experience, because success is different for everybody. A big tool that you'll find on the Facebook page when you go listen to the episode 100 on Waist Up Wardrobe on the Facebook page at Waist Up Wardrobe is that there is a link in there that will take you straight to Pinnacle Global Network's website so that you can see all the different types of mentors you can have to really up level your business and get to those goals. And finally, action item. If you're a business owner and you've been hesitating about whether or not you need somebody to help guide you through your process and get you to your big goals, I'm going to say reconsider that. Go listen to the show and see if there's anything in there that resonates with you. And hopefully you'll take some of the wisdom that we shared and apply it to your life. Is that
Perfect.
okay?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay.
Yay.
Can we kill the feed now?
Yes, hold on a second. Here we go.